Here with you now. Here with you now. Here with you now.
Hello, Transporter fans all around the world, Driveclub people all around the world. This is the Transporter, and we're back in Driveclub once again today because we've got a lot of work to do, to be honest. We have to test drive this bad boy here that premiered in Geneva earlier this year. The Ferrari 488 GTB, the second twin turbo Ferrari after the California. We had a long time since the F40 back in the late 80s. So here it is, replacement for the 458. Now obviously we know it should be faster than the 458, but the true question is, this car has the same horsepower number as another Ferrari here, the 599 GTO, but that is naturally aspirated. This has two twin turbos and medium-sized V8s, but is it faster? I mean, it's obviously lighter, but can the naturally aspirated Jesus fake GTO beat this, the replacement to the already brilliant 458, not 488, already confusing the numbers. 661 horsepower, 560 pound-feet of torque. It's heavier than the 570S. It's entry level. But as the stats say, it is faster, it has produced a lot more drift. Now that it has twin turbos, I do expect it to rev a bit lower than the already high revving 458, both the Italia and the Speciale. They weigh about the same. I guess torque could be the main decider in transmission. That has one, the 488 has one extra gear, this one has 6 gears. But they weigh about the same, except probably difference in weight balance. This is front engine, that is rear engine. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's get to testing. Alright, world premiere of the Ferrari 488 in any racing game. Driveclub has once again beaten Forza, beaten Need for Speed, beaten whoever has a license to Ferrari now. But the car has made its world premiere in any racing game, which is another plus for Driveclub. I mean, remember the last DLC expansion pack, the FXXK made its debut in Driveclub, and as well as the McLaren P1 GTR, and the DLC before that, the supercar 570S made its debut in Driveclub as another first. So all these firsts, and they're not done yet, so hopefully we get more exclusive debuts in this. The 675 LT will be great. Do it, Everson, do it! Anyway, so this is the 488 GTB, as you can see. There's some, obviously it looks like a 458, obviously, because it's its replacement, but other than that, not a lot of changes. There are bigger vents in the front, as it's like a gaping shark in the front with fangs. Look at the fangs just sitting at the center of the bumper there, and then you have this gaping vents on the side near the windows there, and in the back there's more more air. Not more air. What am I saying? Anyway, there's more vents in the back. There's only 2 exhausts in the back instead of 3. There's a rain light there, similar to that of the LaFerrari, but that's pretty much it. That stuff in the back there is not active though. That's not an active arrow. So, interior shot, not much different from the 458, except it's probably a different dials here and everywhere. There's navigation there and over there. It's probably a speedo there on the side, on the passenger side. but not much different from what I'm seeing here. Still all the 48 dials. Steering wheel is still the same since like car came out 2009. But that's pretty much the whole gist of the thing involving the 488. So as I said before, the 488 should rev lower than the 458. Even though this car features a smaller V8 engine, the turbos in it might decrease its RPM revvings, RPM redline. Well, increase the redline, decrease the redline, so that it rev lower. So if you go back into the interior, it only revs to about 8,000 instead of 9,000. So if I would put my foot on the handbrake, my finger, revs a lot lower. Alright, off we go. Yep, a lot lower. Now the 458 Speciale was the already slidey. This is about what I was about to go. What I was about to going to say. I cannot speak today. So the 458, with all the downforce added, all those extra intakes to make it go faster around tracks, was a stable speedster. This has a bit more drift and it has a lot more torque. It's 560 pound-feet of torque. And so that does mean a lot more acceleration. It also means a lot more wheel spin. But let's see if this car has the downforce to handle such cornering and high speed turns. So far so good now here in Canada. And through there, I'm trying to bounce it. See, it does want to spin out when I'm driving the thing. Can't help it. It doesn't feel like a Corvette though. Corvette was like a drifty thing, but it was, I mean, it did feel sane, but you could always feel that this was to slide out and start drifting when you went around a corner. Stats wise, this car is supposed to do 60 in 3 seconds flat. I can imagine that. It's got all the torque too, but wheel spin might repeat it from doing less than 3 seconds, which is what the McLaren 675 can do. So far so good though. Oh, I jinxed myself now and drifted. So it doesn't feel as composed and agile as a 405 Speciale, and I can see that because of the torque figure. The back wheels just want the car to step out. There it is. Back wheels just want the car to step out more and more as you go around the corner. So that's one thing you need to look out for when you're driving this thing. It's not a 458 no more. It's just sort of its own category. Still a brilliant thing, but you're gonna have more fun drifting it than you did before in the 458. Now that it has more torque in it. Yeah. But once you manage it and you're gentle, and you can really do some. Oh, lost it there. You could probably set some records. Maybe. I know this thing could probably beat the Vet Z06 on the track. I don't know though. It does feel a lot more composed. The Vet could just be a monster. Come on, baby. Oh, and it kept me. Uh-oh. Yeah. I messed that up. Oh, I've gone off. I'm not doing very well. But for the most part, yeah, you gotta watch out for drifts now, because this car packs a lot more torque than the 458 because of the twin turbos using a lot more power than it should. And if that's the case, then I do expect the nope, what am I saying? Yep, no, I'm saying right. The 599 GTO to be a lot more composed. I'm going around here. It might not be faster, but it will be a lot more composed. This does pack a lot more acceleration than the 599 though. And even though both cars weigh about the same, well, this car's probably 300 pounds lighter. The 599 will probably be a little easier to handle. This car just, although composed, backwards wanted to step out. And I doubt I beat any records for that. So, that is the 488. As I said before, one thing to be you need to be mindful for is those back wheels. This car packs a lot more torque, so you need to be careful. Don't think that it just because it looks like a 458 that you could easily just go around corners without worrying about the extra amount of wheel spin. So, as for 488 GTB, I'm going to run that with the 599 GTO later in the video. Right, this is the 599 GTO built by the Antichrist, if I were a Clarkson. Uh-oh. And straight away, this car feels a lot slower. Maybe because it doesn't have a lot of torque, as much torque as the 458. This produces 450 plus pound-feet of torque. The 488 produces 560, so torque is much lower. But on the bright side, this car does feel a lot easier to handle, and partly because it's a lot slower. Okay, that's bad. Yeah, this car does feel a lot easier to handle. You don't have to worry about... Oh, okay, that's not gone well. Well, for the most part, you don't have to do a lot of worrying about fixing the car into a tailspin when your car goes into a tailspin. Yeah, last time I went through that corner with the 488, I hit the grass. So this car is a bit easier to handle, which is a good thing. Now, in comparison to the Onzo, this car does have a lot more power and a lot more torque, but is heavier. Onzo wins in about less than 2,800 pounds, and I've been trying for so long to blur the line between super and hyper, and I don't know that this car could do it. Well, this car couldn't do it, neither could the F12, or I don't know if the 488 can do that. The Onzo is just too light. Just too light. But on the plus side, the 488 is a lot easier to handle. Not that the Onzo, but than the 488, the 599. What am I saying? Anyway, let me say it again. The 599 is easier to handle. The 488, although good enough to handle, does like getting sideways with all the cornering action. The Onzo, forget it. That is just pretty much the easiest One of the easiest classics so far. And then the FXXK and the Ferrari are just speed demons. Do not mess with them. But this Ferrari Antichrist does handle pretty well, which could make for some devilish talk. Yeah. Oh, that was too slow. What am I doing? No chicken out. Alright, one more. Oh, baby. I messed that up already. Alright. So that's pretty much the business with the 599 GTO. I cannot speak today, I apologize. Definitely a lot easier to handle, but it does feel a lot slower. But that slowness could be a good thing in the long run, because then it just means you don't have to brake as much when entering a corner. So ideally, it's up to control and acceleration. Yep, up to control and acceleration. Even though both cars weigh about the same, this car does feel a lot easier, but it does feel a lot slower accelerating from certain streets and such. But good looking thing. The Ferrari Antichrist, still a good car, but I don't think it can beat the 599. What am I doing? Oh my god, I'm off. I don't think it can beat the 488 on certain straights. So if I can take it, because I'm taking it to Bendy per reverse, I'm taking it back here again because I was sort of iffy with the driving because I can't drive and talk at the same time. But the 599 might be within a chance in technical circuits such as these, but I'm still not sure because that 488 still handles well. And even though it has a lot more wheel spin because of all that added torque, who knows? So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna compare this and the 488 around here in Canada and Bandy per reverse, and maybe I can give the Anzo a go, see if we can blur the line between super and hyper again, because we tried so many times that we just can't. So that's what we're gonna do. Enjoy that. Right, so how about that? The 488 GTB might be in the rough, to be honest. The RT12R, that thing is crazy fast, leaving the 599 GTO in the dust on both tracks. I didn't really test it against the Onzo Ferrari yet, but I think you can blur the lines between them. But the only difference is that the Onzo, even though it is less powerful than the 488, it is a lot lighter than the 488, like almost, give or take, about 500 pounds lighter than the 488. For that most part, wow, that thing shattered my record on the R312R bending per reverse. I was surprised when it did. But yeah, that's the 488 for you. Super fast, lots of torque, lots of wheel spin, but still pretty manageable. That's what I noticed when I was driving it. It does tend to go into a fishtail. It just starts to drift in a bit, but the car is sort of manageable. It isn't really crazy loose like the Corvette Z06. It is still sort of manageable, so that's a good thing to look out for. It does have more wheel spin than its predecessor, the 458, but that thing is so much faster, so you could toss the 458 out the window. Evolution Studios, well done again, bringing the 488. Now bring in the McLaren 675 LT, because I want that thing so bad. It'll be a real battle then. So hope you guys enjoy this lovely free car review. Rate, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.
See your face in the crowd, but you don't seem so far away. Nothing between us is empty space, empty space.